Congo's war is not just a humanitarian disaster. It is an economic catastrophe of unimaginable proportions. But who is paying the price, and who is profiting from the chaos? Why is it that one of the richest countries in the world, in terms of natural resources, remains one of the poorest? Why do global tech giants thrive while the people of the DRC suffer? And most importantly, who is financing this war? Today, we expose the financial destruction this war has caused, not just in Congo, but across Africa. Stay tuned, and let's break it all down. Congo is sitting on a literal gold mine. Gold, diamonds, coltan, copper, cobalt, and oil. In fact, the DRC holds over $24 trillion in untapped mineral resources. Yes, you heard that right. Imagine if those resources were used to build African industries instead of fueling endless conflict. Imagine a DRC that was fully industrialized, leading Africa's economy instead of being crippled by war. This country could be the backbone of Africa's financial future, boosting continental trade and economic self-sufficiency. So why hasn't that happened? The answer is simple. War keeps Congo weak. War keeps foreign corporations and warlords in business. War ensures that Congo never industrializes, never grows, and never competes on the global stage. But at what cost? Today, we're diving deep into a crisis that's shaking the very foundations of Africa's economic future. Before we continue, a quick reminder to like this video if you're enjoying the content so far. And don't forget to subscribe to African Finance Watch for more insights into Africa's economic trends and investment opportunities. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest updates. Now let's continue. Let's rewind a bit. The DRC's troubles didn't start yesterday. This land has been coveted for centuries, from the brutal Belgian colonization to the kleptocratic rule of Mobutu Sese Seko. But the real economic hemorrhage began with the First and Second Congo Wars. Think about it. How can a country develop when it's constantly at war? The answer is, it can't. And that's exactly what we've seen in the DRC. Fast forward to today, and we're looking at a conflict that's as much about money as it is about power. The M23 rebels, backed by neighboring Rwanda, though they deny it, are wreaking havoc in the eastern DRC. The conflict in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, involving the M23 rebels, has deep historical roots and complex regional dynamics. The M23, primarily composed of ethnic Tutsis, emerged in 2012 as a reincarnation of earlier rebel groups. They claim to fight against discrimination and for the protection of Tutsi communities in the region. Rwanda's alleged support of M23 is a crucial factor in the conflict. Despite Rwanda's denials, multiple UN reports and international observers have accused the country of providing logistical, financial, and military support to M23. Rwanda's motivations are believed to include securing economic interests in the mineral-rich eastern DRC and maintaining a buffer zone against Hutu extremist groups that fled there after the 1994 Rwandan genocide. As of February 2025, the conflict has escalated significantly. M23 rebels, supported by Rwandan forces, have captured the strategic city of Goma, the capital of North Kivu Province 67. This major development has sent shockwaves through the region and raised fears of a wider regional war. The humanitarian situation is dire, with thousands killed, hundreds of thousands displaced, and a looming economic crisis. Despite a unilateral ceasefire declared by M23, fighting continues, and there are concerns about the potential for long-term occupation or even annexation of captured territories. But they're not the only players in this deadly game. Uganda, Burundi, and even South Africa has their fingers in the Congolese pie. And let's not forget the multinational corporations that are all too happy to exploit the chaos for cheap minerals. The involvement of various countries in the Congo conflict is driven by a complex web of interests and justifications. Officially, Rwanda claims its involvement is to protect Tutsi communities in eastern DRC and combat FDLR forces, which include perpetrators of the 1994 Rwandan genocide. However, evidence suggests Rwanda's true motives are economic and political, including access to mineral resources and maintaining regional influence. South Africa, on the other hand, justifies its presence as part of its peacekeeping commitments and obligations under the SADC Mutual Defense Pact. However, critics argue that South Africa's involvement is also driven by economic interests in the DRC's mineral sector. Uganda, while claiming to protect its borders from rebel groups, Uganda has been accused of exploiting the DRC's resources and supporting various rebel factions for economic gain. While Burundi is officially participating in the EAC peace mission, Burundi's interests include securing its borders, regional stability, and potentially improving its diplomatic standing. Finally, Angola's involvement stems from its desire to eliminate UNITA operations in southern Congo and prevent a power vacuum that could threaten its own security. The justifications often mask deeper economic and geopolitical interests, with control over the DRC's vast mineral wealth being a significant factor for many of the involved parties. Do you think these neighboring countries are acting in self-defense? Or is this just modern-day colonialism in disguise? Now, let's talk numbers, because the financial cost of this war is insane. The DRC's economy has been absolutely gutted. We're talking about a GDP that's a fraction of what it could be, infrastructure that's been bombed back to the Stone Age, a mining sector that's more like the Wild West than Wall Street. The DRC is home to 70% of the world's cobalt, a crucial component in our beloved smartphones and electric cars. But instead of funding schools and hospitals, this wealth is funding warlords and foreign bank accounts. And inflation? It's through the roof. The Congolese franc is about as stable as a house of cards in a hurricane. But here's the kicker. This isn't just a Congolese problem. The entire continent of Africa is feeling the pain. Rwanda's spending millions on military operations and dealing with refugee crises. Uganda's trade routes are disrupted. And South Africa? They're pouring resources into peacekeeping missions instead of developing their own economy. It's a lose-lose situation for everyone. Well, almost everyone. We'll get to the winners in this tragedy in a bit. This conflict is sabotaging the dream of African unity and prosperity. How can we talk about African economic integration when one of our richest countries is bleeding resources? Foreign investors look at the DRC and see nothing but risk. That perception spreads like wildfire, affecting investment across the continent. It's like trying to build a house while someone's constantly stealing your bricks. But the costs go way beyond what we can count in dollars and cents. We're talking about forests being decimated for charcoal and timber, a healthcare system in shambles, with diseases spreading unchecked, a generation growing up without education, priceless cultural heritage being looted or destroyed. These are costs that don't show up on balance sheets, but will haunt the DRC and Africa for generations to come. Now, you might be thinking, that's terrible, but how does it affect me? Well, let me tell you. Remember that cobalt we talked about? It's in your pocket right now. The instability in the DRC affects global supply chains, potentially driving up prices for everything from smartphones to electric cars. And let's not forget about international aid. Billions of dollars are poured into the DRC, money that could be used for development elsewhere if peace were achieved. We can't talk about the economic cost without acknowledging the human tragedy. Millions dead, countless displaced, and a generation traumatized. It's a stark reminder that behind every economic statistic is a human story. All right, time for some real talk. In every war, someone's making bank. In the DRC, we're looking at arms dealers supplying all sides of the conflict, illegal mineral traders smuggling out the DRC's wealth, corrupt officials lining their pockets, multinational corporations getting resources at rock-bottom prices. It's a perfect storm of greed and opportunity, all at the expense of the Congolese people. How can we hold these profiteers accountable? Drop your ideas below. So, what's the way forward? It's clear that this isn't just a Congolese problem. It needs a Pan-African solution. We need regional cooperation that goes beyond lip service. Economic diversification, so the DRC isn't just a mineral store, but home of finished products. The DRC needs stronger African financial institutions to break the cycle of debt and dependency. A united African front against external exploitation is required to help save the Congo. So what can you do? You might feel powerless in the face of such a massive crisis, but there's plenty you can do. Support grassroots Congolese initiatives and advocate for fair trade policies to allow Congo export non-mineral products to the world. Spread awareness about conflict minerals. Push your government to support Pan-African economic policies. Remember, every action counts, no matter how small. As we come to the end of this video, let's remember what's at stake. The war in the DRC isn't just costing lives and dollars. It's costing Africa its future. Every day this conflict continues is another day of lost potential. Another day where the dream of a prosperous, united Africa slips further away. But it doesn't have to be this way. With awareness, action, and solidarity, we can turn the tide. The DRC's wealth should be a blessing, not a curse. So, what are your thoughts? How do you think we can break this cycle of conflict and exploitation? Leave your comments below and let's get this conversation going. Because the future of the DRC is the future of Africa, and the future of Africa is the future of the world. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more hard-hitting truths about global economics and politics. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep fighting for a better Africa. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to African Finance Watch for more in-depth content on Africa's economy and investment opportunities. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when our next video drops.